좀 더 자세하게 앞으로 하나님이 건강을 위하여 일하시는 면을 과학적으로 설명하기 위해서 일단 세포의 구조부터
We started out with the cell studies because I want you to know how God is working in our body and everything.
몸은 아시다시피
Specifically,
세포로 구성이 되어 있습니다.
now our body composed of cells,
세포의 종류가 약 274종류의 세포가 됩니다.
about 274
이 세포
cells in our body.
컴퓨터처럼 작동하고 있습니다.
Now those 274 cells are working like the computer in our body.
종류의 수십 조의 세포들이 그 각 컴퓨터들이 하나처럼 움직이고 있습니다.
Now millions and thousands of those cells, they're working as one. They have all different cells and they have all different function, but they work in one. They know each other very well.
서로서로 맞춰서 작동하고 있다는
They cooperate together. And this is a miracle.
근데 그러면은 컴퓨터라고 하면은 일단 프로그램이 저장돼 있어야 됩니다.
Now let's say computer. Now computer, in case of computer, there must be a program.
하드웨어 프로그램이 저장이 돼 있는데
We have hardware, which the program is stored. And our cells as well, there are hardware.
염색체입니다.
That's
영어로 크로모솜.
the chromosome.
이 염색체 속에 세포의 그 기능에 대한 상세한 프로그램.
And in the chromosome, there are there are many kinds of programs about the cell. In your computer hard cell, yes, there are many programs.
그 하드에 저장된 프로그램을 컴퓨터가 수행을 하려면은 어떻게 돼요?
To operate the program,
그 수많은 프로그램 중에 그 프로그램을 선택해서 어떻게 해야 돼요?
the computer should choose the program and then click.
클릭이라는 것은 어떤 신호입니다.
Now, click means like the signal.
프로그램을 어떻게 해요?
Turned off program will be turned on. That's the signal to turn on the program.
우리 세포라는 컴퓨터도 꼭 그렇게 작동한다.
In our cells, it works the same way.
세포라는 각 274가지 뇌세포, 간세포,
No, brain cells and liver cells and skin cells and muscle cells and kidney cells, and there are many cells, and then of course, immune cells, white blood cells, they have B and T and all different kinds. They're all 274. Now let's say, it doesn't mean that there are 274 programs. Even one cell has many different programs, all programmed
암세포를 죽이는 프로그램이 있고
to destroy
바이러스를 죽이는 프로그램이
cancer cells and to destroy virus,
또 여러 가지 곰팡이를 죽이는 프로그램이
to destroy fungus, and all different
세포에도
programs in one cell.
능력이 돼 있다 이거죠. 그래서 예를 들어서 신종플루 바이러스가 침투에 들어왔다. 그러면은 참 희한하게
Now we have, virus like the flu virus. Then you don't know who clicked the program,
물질을 생산해내는 프로그램이 탁 클릭을 받아.
but then the program to destroy that flu virus is on.
우리는 절대로 저절로 됐다고 그러지를.
When the computer program is clicked, we don't say it's just clicked by itself. But when the cells, those programs of the cell is clicked, we say, well, it just happened. That's kind of nonsense.
저절로 바다로 가는 것도 아니고 그 거북이들이 결국에는 어디로 갑니까? 결국에
Well, those turtles, baby turtles, the destination of for those baby turtles is Okinawa, Japan.
누구 있는데? 엄마 있는데.
Who's there? Yes, their mother is there.
엄마가 오키나와에 사는지 알아요, 몰라요?
Do they know their mother lives there? They don't know.
연어들처럼 자기들이 어디서
Like salmons.
빠져야 될지 모르는데
They don't know which way to go, but they go anyway.
연어들만 해도 자기들이 무슨 종인지 네 종 중에 무슨 종인지 알까요?
And even those salmons, they don't know which kind they are. They don't know they're pink, choco, or chinook, or sockeye. They don't know which kinds they are, but they go.
그 코스대로 가게 해서
They follow the course where their kinds are going.
다시 돌아와서 결국은 고향으로 돌아오게 합니다. 그래서 와서 알을 낳고
And they go back home, and then they lay eggs, and then they die.
그래서 과학자들은 이렇게 얘기하더구만요. 그 연어나 거북이의 뇌 속에
Scientists just say,
장치가 있다.
those salmons or the turtles, they have GPS in their brain.
그래서 이
On the earth, there is magnetic force,
남극이 있고 그
magnetic wave.
남극 사이로 어때요? 북쪽에서 나온 그 파장이 자기 파가 남쪽으로 가고 이렇게
And now in the North Pole and South Pole, there are magnetic forces like flowing, and the waves are all moving around.
근데 이제 거북이들은
They explain this way.
할수 있는 나침판 같은 내비게이션
They say turtles, they have GPS in their head that take that magnetic waves, and that's why they go to the sea and thing. So that's how we understand now these days.
그 말을
Because of the GPS program, so-called, they just go to the sea.
볼 때는
Can you
자기
accept that?
파를 인식하는 그것도 자기 파도 뭐니까 에너지고 그것도
Now, magnetic wave is also the energy. They have the frequencies as well.
우리는 파동을 인식하고 있어요, 사실.
We actually recognize the waves. Every cell in our body, they recognize the cells. So if there are bad waves are coming towards you, then those cells are also dying.
아주 우리 세포하고는
X-ray,
상극인 파동이 오면 세포 죽어버리죠.
X-rays, yeah, they're like really contradict to our body. So if the bad waves are coming to us, then we die. Those cells are dying.
우리 세포들은 파동에 반응하고 있습니다.
Our cells react to the waves.
이 지구는 뭐예요? 이 자기 파가
Now, scientists say this Earth, we have this magnetic waves from the South Pole to the North Pole and everything. So compass is there.
방향을 틀면 나침반이 쫙 돌아가지 않습니까? 항상 북극으로 이렇게 되도록 자기 파가
When you drive the boat, the compass
움직이는 거거든요.
directs the north end. So, it follows
그래서 실제로 과학적으로
because of the magnetic
자기장을
wave.
인식하는 그런 세포들이 그런 뇌세포들이 있어요.
And yes, of course, there are brain cells who recognizes that
그것을 인식하는 뇌세포가
magnetic field.
목적지를 갈 수 있을까요?
Well, just because those cells can recognize those magnetic field, then can we go where we are supposed to go?
내비게이션을 사서
Now, let's say you bought GPS and then you put it in your car.
뭐예요?
Doesn't mean that you go to where
내비게이션이
you want to go. Even though you have GPS,
내비게이션에 뭐를 입력해 줘야 돼요? 목적지를 입력해야 돼요.
you have to write down the destination.
내비게이션이 여러분을 목적지로 가게 하는 건 아닙니다. 그렇죠?
If you type the destination on the GPS,
위성에서 계속 신호를 보내.
and then the satellite will send you the signals. Well, you're here now. This time you make a right turn and a left turn and
위성에서
things like those. Satellites send the signals to your GPS, and then you know the course where to go.
있다고 해서 가는 게 아니에요.
Even though you have GPS, you can't go where you want to go.
연어의 뇌세포 속에 들어있는 내비게이션 장치에
Now, those GPS kind of program in salmon's brain,
위성이
who is controlling that GPS? And that satellite as well, those signals, who is sending the signals?
하나님의 하시는 일이 뭐예요? 밝히 나옵니다.
then you will see what God is doing and how God is doing. Without God, those migration or those move of the salmons and the turtles can't be explained. Now, we say our faith is just religious or just spiritual, then that's spiritual part. Then that's dualism. Now let's apply those salmons or the turtles story to us. The cancer cells, when the cancer cells are made, God moves those T cells to destroy the cancer cells. So actually, God is a great physician. We need to make sure of this. To spread the gospel, we should know the biological phenomena. When we show those reaction, then people will recognize God in realistic, not a religious way only, but people will understand and realize God in a scientific way and then move on to the spiritual level. So the true church should have this health message. So priests, they should study biology, and doctors, they should study the Bible. So they should both know the truth. That's the remnant church. They have to fight with the Satan's spiritualism. Now those hardware in our cell, that's chromosome. And when you open the chromosome, what can you see? You'll see the program. When you open the hardware, you'll see the program. But the program is like what? That's the letter 1 and 0. Computer term is 1 and O. So those experts about computer, they read those words. Now you open our chromosome, and then you see also the letter. Computer term is only 1 and 0. But our cell hardware is DNA. Now you see, how come DNA is like the letters? Now there are 4 kinds of DNAs. 4 kinds of DNA. Let's look at the DNA. According to the arrangement of DNA, the meaning is changed. Like 1100 or 1010, the meaning is different in computer. So according to the DNA arrangement, also the meaning is changed. Let's look at the DNA. This is the cell. This is cell membrane. Then the nucleus, there is chromosome inside. And we'll look at the chromosome. That's the chromosome.
풀어보면은 이 실처럼 이렇게 풀립니다.
And it's like the
이게 실같이
thread.
보이지만은 이 실을
It looks like the thread, but it's not like that. If we magnify this, this is how it is like.
된 소위
Double helix.
나선입니다.
Yeah, that's the double helix
나선인데 이게
of DNA.
조립식으로 구성이 돼 있어. 그렇죠. 이 조립이 돼 있죠, 그렇죠. 그다음에 사실 이 줄도 이게 토막
They can be connected like this way. Now you see the
이 갈색 물질로 조립이 되어 있습니다. 그래서
the yellowish part.
긴 줄로 되어 있습니다. 그래서
There's a long line.
다 분해해서 부속품을 보면은 이렇게 돼요.
Now let's analyze this. Those are the 4 kinds of DNAs.
자, 줄, 토막줄.
You see the little
그다음에 줄과
part
줄을 이어주는 이 갈색 물질.
and this yellow thing. They connect these white matter and those AT, GC.
염기.
Mhm.
그래서 아데닌이라는 염기,
The A is adenine,
티민이라는 염기.
timin, T.
여러분 먹는 음식에서 다 이거 나올 수 있습니다. 간에서 다 만들어낼 수 있어.
Food you eat, actually they have all this. And this is guanine and cytosine.
첫 글자만 따서 그냥 A, T.
Take only the initials AT and GC.
여러분이 외워두시면 됩니다. 이 염기가 줄에 붙어 있고 이
They're connected to this line,
물질에서 길게
and these 2 lines are connected by the help of this yellowish thing.
그런데 보니까 이 흰색 줄은 알고 보니까 당분이야.
This white thing is the glucose.
여러분 밥 먹으면 밥 속에 당이 많으니까.
When you
그럼 이것은
eat, you have a lot of, you take the sweetest things, glucose.
염기. 그래서 당, 인산, 염기. 당.
So those 3 things are connected.
염기.
Glucose, and then those A,
이 요것들이
and then yellowish thing,
그
connected. And actually they are
프로그램.
this program.
이 프로그램의 기본적 4가지 종류의 부속품이 되는.
They are the 4 basic things of this double helix of DNA.
그러니까 인산, 당, 염기 이렇게 된 부속품 한 개 한 개를 DNA라고 부릅니다.
Now those each one, we call this DNA. And that's why we say 4 kinds of DNA. We have 4 kinds of DNA. But what are the 4 kinds?
염기가 4종류니까. 그래서 DNA라 그러면 딱 하나만 있는 게 아닙니다. 그래서 4종류의 DNA가 이렇게 쫙 조립되어 있는 거죠.
4 kinds of DNAs are all connected this way.
이 DNA 2개가 이렇게 탁탁 이렇게 조립이 돼요. 이렇게 조립이 되고 이런 조립을 또 옆으로
They should be connected this way.
길게 되는 거죠.
The side way, you look this way, in this way.
이렇게 된 거를 길게 만들어서 꼬면은 이렇게 돼요.
You make it longer, and then you twist it, and then it'll look like this way, double helix, and then we call it gene.
그 유전자는 세포 속에 들어 있는 뭐예요? 프로그램입니다.
And we call it genes are the programs in our cell.
DNA는 알고 보면은 글자지요. 그렇죠?
So DNA is actually the letter.
글자죠. 그 글자가 어떤
Letters.
순서로 배열이 돼 있느냐. 그래서 이것을 DNA 배열 혹은 DNA sequence.
We call it DNA sequence. According to the DNA sequence, it's different.
Base sequence.
Sometimes we call this base sequence or DNA sequence. Those A, C, T, G, they're a base.
DNA 서열이라 그럽니다. 이 염기 서열이 글자입니다.
Those double helix sequence are the letters.
여러분 옛날에 이 애굽 문화를 우리가 볼 수 있는 상형 문자를 읽어내지 못했잖아요.
You know, back in old time, Egyptians, they have those picture letters.
드디어 조금씩 파악해가다가 어떻게 해요?
And we couldn't understand the meaning because we didn't know the letters and the pictures together. But then now some archaeologists, they study on this and they recognize what it means. Now, before doctors, they didn't know this A, T, C, G, and then those words. They didn't know the letters. They know these genes are the letters, but they didn't know the meaning. From this part, what does that mean? From that part and this part, what does that mean? They didn't know because they're all mixed. If you don't know English, then A, B, C, D, they're all mixed. If you study English, then you will know what this means. No, those letters of the genes, doctors finally they could read what it means. It took a long time. It took more than 100 years. 1990s, doctors finally could read those letters and they started working. And then year 2003, they had gene map. They couldn't read 100%, but about 98%, they could interpret these words and understood the program. So let's say genes are like the program when you compare this to the computer. We have cancer cells growing in our body daily, but in your T cells, there's a program for destroying these cancer cells. According to the DNA sequence, it's all written. The program is all written. The point is the program should be activated to work. The program should be turned on, activated. And that in that program, from that program, they will produce some kind of substance to destroy the cancer cells. And then cancer cells will be destroyed by that substance. Every day in our daily lives, every human being's inside of their body, it's happening. If it's not happening, then everybody will have cancer and die. Now we see a very important point here, theologically. So I'm thinking, God knew that our human beings will have cancer somehow. So in case we have cancer, God made that program in T cell to destroy the cancer cells, to keep us healthy. Let's pause here for a while and let's talk about these genes. Now, genes, those are the letters. Now, one DNA, let's say this DNA is just one alphabet letter, T, and then 3 DNAs are together. Let's say just triple DNAs. Now those triple DNAs, 3 different alphabet is made, and that's the word. Now see these DNAs, they are all connected, and many DNAs are connected. We call this gene. So the gene is the sentence because the words are all connected. So that's like the sentence.
그래서 이 문장이 모여 있는 것을 책이라고.
And the sentences are all there and paragraphs, and then they're all together. That's the book. Now those genes are the sentences.
지금 여러분 눈으로 보시는 이 유전자는 암세포를 죽이는 물질을 생산하는 프로그램의 글자다.
Let's say these are the ones who are destroying the cancer cells. And now these are all programs are all together here. And let's say this is the hardware, which is called chromosome. And then this chromosome is in the cell. And then we have 23 chromosomes in our cell. Computer, we have only 2 hardwares, C drive and D drive, but so let's say we have 23 books in our cell.
그래서 이 책으로 하면은 책 사이즈가 다 같지만은 사실은
Well, actually here the volumes are all like the same, but the sizes are all different. Actually the size of the genes are all different.
그래서 제일
Heights are all different. The tallest genes, that's the thickest book. That's number 1 chromosome. And little shorter than the first one, that's the number 2 chromosome. And then the shortest one, that's the 22. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and then Volume 3, which page, which program is written. And they're all now interpreted in year 2003. We live in this science world. This is amazing. When I was in school, I didn't know this at all.
우리 몸에 암세포가 매일 생기고 있다는 그 사실도 우리가 몰랐습니다.
Well, even before, we didn't know that cancer cells are growing in our body. We just thought, well, if you're unfortunate that you have cancer cells growing in your body and you become a cancer patient and you die. And so when you have a cancer, then, doctors are responsible for that treatment. But those doctors, scientists, they study this gene and they realize that, those cancer cells and the T cells are working for that cancer cells. So even though we have cancer cells growing in our body, but then they don't become cancer patients because these program is working, activated. And now we realize this and wow, and we are amazed. Now, let's say cancer patients came to you and they need the counsel. And then you explained why, you have this cancer is because this and that and this. Now you say, everybody has cancer cells growing in the body. It's not just you that you're unfortunate, and it's not you that God punishes you. It's like everybody has cancer cells growing in our body. But the reason why everybody is not the cancer patient is because this cancer cell killing destruction program is not working in you. And then let's say this child, this naive kid can ask a question. Then you say, well, who clicks the program to activate that destroying cancer cell program? Who clicks that program? Well, but you guys, or, elder adults, they just listen because they think it's just happening. That's the way we are educated. Well, we're going to talk about that click thing a little later. Let's more focus on the genes.
이렇게 그 암 세포를 죽이는 물질을 우리가 자연 항암제라고 부르자. 자연 항암제.
Let's say those things, we call it natural killer cells.
암 세포를 죽이면
Now, natural killer cells are produced and killing the cancer cells. Then you have no side effect.
사람들이 제약회사에서 그렇게 수십만 달러를 들여서
You know, drug company or a pharmaceutical company, they invest thousands of dollars to make this medicine to kill cancer cells. But then they also kill the T cells as well. You have all the hair out. But those natural killer cells, they have no side effect, even though they kill the cancer cells. Now, the medicine that human beings made or make, sometimes this medicine works on this cancer, sometimes they don't work on this cancer, or this person or that person. They're all different. This cancer medicine, this medicine works on the liver cancer, but not the pancreas cancer. They're all different. But the natural killer cells, before this, all the cancer cells are dying. They're so powerful. We can take that natural killer cells from our blood. Those natural killer cells are the protein. And yes, we know what those are actually. And then components, but then we just can't make it. Is this amazing? Even though we know what it is, but we just can't make it. We know the arrangement, and we know what they are. We try to make it, but we just can't make it. With our knowledge today, with our technology, we can't make it. And we say, well, that is just made in our body. Then, you know, it's not like that. We can't say it is just made by itself. Sometimes we say this just happened naturally, it just happened. We just say it because we don't know this.
왜 여러분을 찾아오신 그 암 환자는 암 환자가 됐을까요?
Now, let's say these cancer patients who came to you, why this person became a cancer patient? You're not a cancer patient. You don't have cancer. Well, you have also cancer cells growing in your body, but then you're not a cancer patient. Then how come this cancer patient became a cancer patient?
저절로 되던 것이
Naturally? Well, for this person's case, the program is not working by itself.
저절로 되던 것이 더 이상 안 되는데도 뭐예요? 이유가 있을 거 아닙니까?
Yeah, there must be a reason why the program is not working.
옛날에는 뭐라 그랬습니까? 운이 나쁘다.
Before, when you didn't know, they say, "Oh, you're unfortunate. You're not lucky." That was their answer.
T세포 속에 입력되어 있는 여러분, 그러니까 여러분 신학을 공부했다고 해서 이런 얘기 못하라는 법이 뭐예요? 없지 않습니까?
Just because you study the theology, you say, "Oh, well, I don't know biology. I don't know anything about biology, so please don't ask." You know, you should know what God is making or what God is working. You only talk about the theory only, and you thought theology is just a theory, but it's not like that. God created our body as well. God created our cells. I should know what are there in your cells.
저는 의학을 공부한다고 생각하지 않습니다. 저는 뭐를 공부한다고 생각할게요?
those doctors, the students, they say, oh, we only study the medicine. But I think it's not just the medicine. This is, theology as well, because God created a man.
빼놓고 배우면 그게 의학이에요.
But modern medicine, they study medicine without God.
하나님을 개입시켜서 창조주를 개입시켜서 의학을 배우면 그때는 의학적 신학이죠.
When you include God in your medicine, that's the biotheology or theomedicine. Either one. Medical theology, theomedicine.
창조주가 창조하셨는데 신학이 안 들어가는데 왜 이렇게
God created everything, so theology, in every part, theology should be there.
공부하는 학문은
You study everything in theology.
그래서 저는 이 신학의 지금 현재 신학의 제일 문제점이 뭐냐 그러면은 하나님이 만드신 것을 통하여 하나님을 뭐예요? 알아야 되는데 그거하고 좀
The problem of the theology is like you should know God through the creatures, through what God has made.
물리학자나 공부하고 우리는
Let's say you study, physicists study this, and you study biology, and you study medicine, but I will only study God. That's theology. It's not like that. If you really want to study God, if you really want to know God, then you should study everything that God has made.
자 그러면은 왜 그 사람은 매일매일 암세포를 죽여 왔었는데 왜 어느 날부터 암세포를 죽일 수가 뭐예요?
Now go back to the cancer patient story. Now, how come his program is not working? What was the problem in that person?
항암제를 매일매일 생산해 왔었는데 도대체 무슨
Now, natural killer cells were produced every day, and then, it destroyed all the cancer cells. But then how come this gene is not clicked anymore?
자연 항암제를 생산하는 유전자를 그 프로그램을 만드신 분도 우리 인간보다 훨씬 더 우수한 분인 것 같아요. 그렇죠? 왜 우리 인간은 우리 지능과 기술로는 못 만드니까.
Well, the one who made this natural killer cells and this program must be very amazing because we human beings cannot make it. No, the one is actually clicking the program.
하면은 여기서 진짜 theology가 나오기 시작합니다.
Yeah, let's compare this story to the computer. If you really study this, you will have theology.
뜯어보고
Like you open the computer
이 컴퓨터 만든 사람 대단하구나.
and you see what's in it, and you say, wow, what a person. Wow, this is amazing, this program and that program. You say this. Let's study God this way.
어떻게 유전자가 클릭이 되는가?
How can our genes be clicked and activated and turned on?
유전자의 조절은 어떻게 되는가?
Now, how
우리가 알아요.
are our genes are controlled?
근데 이제는 압니다.
We didn't know, but now we know because we have gene map.
적어도
Almost.
과학자들이 어디까지 갔냐 하면은, 이 유전자의 종류가 약 24,000가지거든요.
About
여러분 그 하드웨어
24,000 of genes. There are about 24,000 of genes.
일사불란하게 조절이 되어야만 생명이 유지가 돼요.
And they should be all activated and controlled, cooperative, and they should all working together to keep us alive. But for us, this is impossible for us to control those genes. Those impossible things are happening in our body daily.
되는 것을 우리는 뭐라 불러요? 기적이라고 부르죠.
Those impossible things, we call it miracle.
우리는 기적적으로 살아 있는 거예요.
Miraculously, we're alive every day. Miraculously, we're destroying.
전혀 개입.
Those cancer cells are destroyed.
즉
without us,
어떤 사람이
without our
만나게 된
control.
것은 그런 기적이 중단되죠.
But for the cancer patients, those miraculous
하나님의
working,
하시는 일이
they are not
안 되고
working anymore.
기적적으로
God cannot
암세포를
work
찾아낼
on
수
that
있는 일이
person.
안 되고 있다.
Those miraculous things, those T cells working on
근데 그
cancer cells,
클릭은
it's not
클릭이
happening.
안 되고 있다는 거죠.
It's not clicked. The program is not clicked.
클릭을 누가 하느냐? 만약 하나님이 한다면 클릭이 안 되는 것은 하나님과 연관이 있는 거죠.
If God clicks the program, then it has something to do with God. If the program is not clicked, then it has something to do with with God.
결과다라고 말합니다.
Sister White says the result of the
모든
result of the disease
죄를
is
보면서
sin.
이제 하나님이 내리는 뭐예요? 벌이다. 이런 말로 해석하지 마세요.
It doesn't mean we sin, that's why we're punished, and that's why we have disease. It's not like that way. Sin
이렇게 이해하죠.
disturbs this clicking.
그게 복음적이죠. 그러니까 죄인이
That's more
죄를
gospel.
지음으로 인하여 클릭이 안 되게 됐다.
Because the sinners
또 하나의 뭐예요?
are sinning,
신호입니다. 그렇죠.
this click, well, click is actually the signal.
네. 어떤 주파수를 가지고
Signal means the waves. They have frequencies.
그 클릭이 막힌 거야.
And the God is sending the signals, but the signals are blocked because of the sin.
그래서 그러면은 여러분, 그러면 그 클릭을 막는 현상을 클릭을 다 막아버리면 사람이 어떻게 돼요? 죽어요.
Yeah, if those signals are all blocked, then
그러면
we die, the death.
클릭을 해주는 것은 생명을 주는 것이고 클릭을
So sending the signals means we have life, and the blocking the signal, that's
그래서
death.
생명의 세력이 있고 사망의
That's why we have
세력이 있다.
life power and then death power.
유전자를 놓고 그렇게 설명했습니다.
And we have this gene and then gene map, and we explain with this way, two ways.
생명의 세력과 사망의 세력의 쟁투 속에
The life
유전자를 가진
and the death, they have
이 우리 세포를
great controversy over our
세포 속에
cells.
입력된 그 프로그램을 유전자를 누구 손에 맡길 것이냐.
Then we have these programs, then who is going to take this program? Who do we want to have to give this program to?
클릭을 막는
Do we want to give this program to God, or do we want to give this program to the death
진리를
side?
가지는 진리가 너희를 뭐요?
When you know the truth will set you free. In that freedom, you have the restoration of health.
이 건강의 회복이 따라가지 않습니까? 그렇죠? 그래서 여러분 아시다시피 구원이라는 말은 회복, 치유라는 말과
Salvation is healing and also restoration. So they're all same words.
우리가 유전자 의학을 통해서 실질적으로 그게 그렇다는 거죠. 자, 그러면
Through the gene study, we will know more about this.
드디어 이 23개의 염색체, 23개 염색체 상에 몇 번 염색체 어떤 프로그램이
Now we have this 23 chromosomes, and which chromosome have this, which number has this disease and that disease. And now that's what we know now. Doctors know.
유전자들의 위치, 그러니까 여러분 컴퓨터 프로그램도 C에 있느냐, D에 있느냐 다 나오잖아요.
Now it's like your computer, like which program is in the C and then other drive. It's like the same way. Your chromosome has numbers, and this number, the gene is damaged, and then you have this disease.
우리 인간을 만들어 놓고
Now it's all proved.
프로그램을 만들어서 저장을 해놨어요.
somebody created, human beings and then made this program in the gene.
저는 그래서 저는 이 여러분에게 이제 유전자 지도라는 것을 이제 소개합니다.
I'm going to introduce you the gene map.
깊이 연구한 연구 제목을 Human Genome Project.
And this, we call this Human Genome Project.
혹은 지놈이라고도 부르고 GENOM, 지놈, 게놈 혹은 진 여러 가지 명칭이 있죠. 그래서 인간 게놈 프로젝트는 결국 23개의 각기 다른 염색체 상에
Human Genome Project has this 23 chromosomes, and which chromosome has this and that and this. I'll show you this. That's number 1. That's Human Genome Project, and that's number 1. That's like the graph. That's number 2. A little shorter than the number 1. The 3, little shorter. 4, then 5, and shorter, they got shorter. The higher numbers, they have shorter ones. 22, that's the last one. And the 23, they're all pairs. But they just draw only one thing. But 23, they're different. The X and Y. That's a gender chromosome. That number 23, it has the gender, man or female or male. Female, they have 2 X's. And then male, they have X, 1 X, and 1 Y. Y, you see, very simple. According to the program, let's say women is superior than male. Well, we can't have male cannot have babies. Let's say arteriosclerosis, that's number 19. When the number 19 gene has problem, that you have arteriosclerosis. And you have white blood cell cancer, that's number 22. And pancreas cancer, that's number 18. Our denomination, we have a lot of pastors or people have pancreatic cancer. When they have number 18 DNA problem here, that you have pancreatic cancer, and that's the breast cancer, number 17. And there are tons of diseases that we even don't know the name. This is a very simplified, but there are many kinds of diseases, like 24,000 of genes and the numbers, and they have all different things. They have heart problem, that's obesity. Number 7, that's obesity there. That area, there is a kind of substance which controls the weight. So even though you don't really care, but then our weight is controlled by this gene there. Here, I say naturally, even though we don't know, it means God sends this signal that if you eat too much, then God says, hey, stop eating, stop eating. Yeah, He sends this signal so that we don't have to overeat. And sometimes we say, even though we believe in God, we say, oh, I think my weight is controlled by itself. I think my body is very superior. That's the beginning of the faith by work. Here I say naturally, it doesn't mean naturally. It's not me doing this
누구의 손에
naturally,
달렸습니다. 창조주.
but it's in the hand of God.
이렇게 될 때 믿음으로 말미암는 의가 탄생하기 시작한다.
That's the faith
그래서 건강을
by righteousness by faith, not the righteousness by work.
믿음으로 말미암는 의의 원칙이 진리가 확고하게 섭니다. 우리 몸을 기준으로 해서 하나님이 만드신 당신의 성전인
You see your body, this is the holy temple.
믿음으로 말미암는 의라야만 살아갈 수 있습니다.
When you know your body, then you know that God is working in this and that's the righteousness by faith. It's not you who are controlling.
다음에 이제 보시면 이게 여기 이제 여기 유전자가 고장이 나면 당뇨병에 걸리고.
That's diabetes number 7, and that's number 1, and that's Alzheimer and
뭐 파킨슨스병.
lung cancer and Parkinson's disease and all that.
결국은 프로그램의 오류입니다.
That's the faults of the program.
참 간단하잖아요. 프로그램의 오류에는
The program is damaged. That's why the program is not working. Well, there are two kinds of faults.
이걸 잘 여러분 아셔야 돼요. 첫째, 프로그램 자체에 오류가 발생합니다.
Number 1, the program itself has problems.
뭐예요?
We call this the genes are changed. When the genes are changed, the program itself has problems.
염기 서열, DNA 배열.
DNA sequence is changed.
컴퓨터 하드에 이상이 일어난 건 뭐예요? 1하고 0하고의 배열 순서가
When your computer has a problem like 1 and 0, those arrangements are all mixed up. Then the program is not working
그래서 그런 것을
because the program is damaged. Now we call this our genes are changed. Well, the scientists call this mutation.
학교에서 옛날에 배우기는 돌연변이.
They call this mutation.
돌연변이는 수십만 년 만에 한 번씩 일어난다. 뭐 이런 식으로 배웠더랬습니다.
Back in long time ago, we learned this mutation happens like over the some 100 years. But now this mutation happens rarely. This is the recent newspaper.
담배 15개 피울 때마다 뭐예요?
It's like the last week.
전자변이가.
Every time you smoke 15 cigarettes, then gene is changed. Every time you smoke 15 cigarettes.
담배 피우는다고요?
Back in old time, we thought, well, smoking and then changing the gene has nothing to do with this. But it just it's proved.
이게 바로 그저께 발표된 겁니다. 이것도 아마
It was December 18th, last Friday.
네이처 최신호 12월 17일자에
The Nature, it's the magazine Nature.
그래서 유전자
The Nature introduced this December 17.
변질이 될 수 있습니다.
So genes, they can be damaged.
이건 뭐 분명한 변질이고 그런데 유전자는 전혀 구조적인 변질 없이 기능적으로도 문제가 생기는데 그건 뭐냐?
Sometimes functionally,
않는다.
they're also
켜지지가 않는
damaged.
말은
Why? It means they're not turned on. Those genes are not turned on. It means they're not clicked
그러니까
because
그게 안
they
먹으면
have functionally problems.
그게 작동 프로그램이 뭐예요?
If your computer is not clicked, means the program is not working.
이 우리 컴퓨터나 세포 컴퓨터가 같은 원리 하에서 작동.
Our cell computer and our computer, they're working in the same way.
자, 이건 이제 점점 배워 보시면 더 아주 신기해집니다.
Let's go deeper into this later.
자, 유전자 글자는 알고 보니까 글자다.
Now, I said genes are the letters,
프로그램이다.
and those genes are the programs which is made by the letters.
자연 발생적으로 생겨날 수 있겠습니까?
Now, do you think the letters can be made or created spontaneously?
의도적으로 어떻게 해요? 디자인해서
Well, somebody has to have the intention to make the words.
우발적으로 글자가 형성될 수 없어요.
Words, the letters, cannot be spontaneously made.
세포로 구성이 되어 있는데 그 세포
Now,
속에는
our body is
창조되어야만
composed
존재할 수
of
있는
cells.
기록이 되어 있는데
Now, those cells, in the cells, there are letters.
기록되어 있는 게 아니라
It's not just the letters written,
특수하게 배열해서
but there's also the arrangement, the sequence.
프로그램을 짜놨어요. 그
There's a
프로그램이
special sequence and the special programs in the cell.
유지시키는 프로그램.
And the program is for the keeping us alive
그러면 글자도 만들어야만
and keeping us
존재하지만
healthy.
더더구나 무엇은
Words, yes, should be created to
한글이 세종대왕께서
be existed.
만들어서 존재하고
Now,
있다.
let's say Korean characters are made
우리가
by
무슨
King Sejong,
프로그램을 짜서 기록을 해야 될 거 아니에요. 그렇죠. 어떤
but
행사를
those
하려면
Korean
프로그램이
letters should be
필요하다. 그 프로그램이
organized to
더더구나
make the program.
창조돼야 됩니다. 그렇죠.
Now, the program, let's say about the program
어떤
must
사람에
be
의해서 창조돼야
created. By who?
행사를 앞뒤로 탁
The host of the program or the ceremony or the show,
그래서 우리 인생이 어떨
the
것인가
person who knows everything about the show.
생명 프로그램을 짜서 기록을 하셔야지.
Now, the one who knows everything about life should program.